Mrs. Thomas.
Here.
Ms. Shufel.
Here.
Mr. Wright is here. Ms. Block.
Here.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on our agenda, we have our good news. First, I just want to take the time to say thank you to Beacon Baptist Church. Back on August 28th and 29th, they were gracious in hosting the Taylor School District for our all-staff PD. So they hosted our kickoff, which was a really great time. The band was there, all the staff were there, everyone was smiling. And we had a really great keynote speaker. So I just wanted to acknowledge Beacon Baptist for being gracious host and allowing our district to use their facility for 2 years now in a row. So thank you to Beacon. Next, we have thank you to the summer maintenance staff. This summer, Tom can attest, has been a crazy year for maintenance, and they have done such an amazing job. They have worked their butts off through the heat, power outages, storms. I mean, they got things thrown at them left and right, and they still made our school buildings ready for our students on the first day yesterday. So I just wanted to say thank you. And just to list some of the things and projects they had going on throughout the year, they were doing renovations at Taylor CTE North and South, moving some classrooms and getting a temporary board annex ready. They were working on our actual board annex for the renovations for it to become the district's board office. They were doing regular building maintenance, which involves moving all the classroom furniture out and in, waxing and striping the floors, painting walls, replacing doors. I mean, things that we walk into the buildings and we just expect them to be there. So, and it's due to them. And then we had the grounds crew that was working throughout the summer. We had them working on athletic field maintenance. We had them working on installing doors at Myers to make the building more functional, working on the Hoover pool. So they had a very big job this summer and they rose to the occasion. So I just want to give them the acknowledgement they deserve and thank them. So. All right. Moving on to item number 4, revisions, approval of the agenda, Ms. Block.
Are there any revisions to the agenda?
Yes, we will have quite a few. So we will be moving public comment till after the recess for capital projects committee meeting. So that will become item number 10, and recess will become item number 11. And recess will become 10. And then under discussion and action, we will be doing our second reading of the policy revisions. We will be adding policy 0154 motions, policy 2430 district sponsored clubs and activities, policy 3370 tenure, and policy 5610 emergency removal, suspension and expulsion of non-disabled students. So we will be adding that to our discussion and action for our second reading. Yeah, it'll be moved to discussion item number 7. And then for action items, it'll be action item number 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Are there any other revisions to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion for the amended agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Walker? Yes, Mr. Bean?
Yes.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 5, discussion items. First up, we have the City of Taylor easement agreement. Mr. Gibbs. Just feel free to go right up to that podium, right there.
Good evening. I apologize if I was late. There's a handout of a number of items that we provided to you. City of Taylor ventured on to a water main project in 2022, trying to replace the water main on Wick Road, including a number of smaller segments to improve our distribution system. One of the segments that we are trying to address is located on the Taylor School property, West Middle School. I provided the easement description that would need to be signed by the school board, a copy of the engineering plan. I apologize as the work has already been done. I missed the previous superintendent by a couple days, so I do apologize for that. But I wanted to appear in person in case there's any direct questions I can ask on behalf of the city.
So the job's already complete.
It's done.
Discussion.
I would have preferred it not to be that way, but we had to get done before school started and the contractor became available and it kind of happens real fast. We normally don't want to operate in that fashion.
And did that improve anything at West, like the water flow or anything, or?
It should have improved the water flow. I'm not sure if you can measure it, but it should improve the water quality and the water flow.
Oh,
Because going down off of Goddard, going to the north on both William and Catherine Street, there was a dead end water main that was 700-800 feet long on each side. And then the schools had a tap off of that. Now that whole system can circulate and flow better, so the water quality should be better, and so should the pressure.
That new main is in service?
Yes, sir, it
Been
is.
Chlorinated, tested, all that?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Again, I apologize.
Moving on to item number 2, the ADA playgrounds, Mr. Kent.
Good evening. So a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, I was here, we discussed the ADA playground options over at Johnson and Blair Moody. I think there was a few more options that the board wanted to evaluate prior to making a budget decision for that. In front of you, you should see 3 additional options that were provided by Great Lakes Recreation to give the board a budget amount for this project. One of which was to add pour in place servicing to the Blair Moody playground, which was just redone to allow the Bohai students access to that. That amount is $180,954. One question that might come to mind is why is it so drastically different from the pour in place servicing at Johnson? And that's mainly just because of the size. We're going from 3,500 square feet to 7,500 square feet. That square footage is an estimate from the company based on satellite images. If it were to reduce, then that cost would also come down. Yes.
Quick question. Regarding the one at Moody, is this, because at Moody, you kind of have 2 playgrounds. You have the higher up playground that sits up high, and then you have the down low playground. And from my conversations with Michelle, the one that is lower is the one that has the wheelchair accessible set for the kids to go on.
Correct.
And so if we were, is that 180,000 encompassing both playgrounds, or is that just that one?
Just that one.
Okay.
Again, you could reduce the size if you don't want to go from border to border. You could just install pathways essentially and do surrounding the equipment so that kids could access it and then leave the playground as well. So yeah, that 7,500 was half of the total playground that's there. So just the lower equipment. But I think that square footage could be reduced just based off the overall size of what's there.
So another question related to that. So if we were to say reduce the size rather than doing every inch of that playground, we could do like, say we approve 3,500 square feet at 79,000. That could be at the Moody playground though. So we'll just say up to 3,500 square feet, and they can make that work.
Yeah.
Around that playground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's a great point. So if you want to, again, if you want to only approve a certain dollar amount and we have to work within that budget, then come back and provide an update, like, here's exactly what that will encompass, we can do that as well. And then the third option is we had discussed replacing the playground over at Johnson where the current pour in place surfacing is. And that amount was $104,673. One thing to note, that quote does include reinstalling engineered wood fiber, which is just the mulch type surfacing. If you wanted to go with the pour in place surfacing instead of that, it would be a total project amount of $177,113.
So the 104 quote is putting mulch back on.
Correct.
Which would defeat the purpose because
Right.
the
Yeah.
wheelchairs can't go on the mulch.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
we're in this.
100%.
You
Yeah.
Why would
guys
they even-
already
that's-
put the mulch down, correct? Before?
They
At the
put them at Moody, correct. Right now, there is a small playground at Johnson that has the pour in place. I think the condition of it starting to get near the end of its lifetime. So that's what I believe sparked this whole.
So you guys put mulch down at Moody,
Correct.
where the students couldn't go on the mulch.
They currently use the Johnson playground, from my understanding.
So I had a conversation with the building administrator where the POHI program is, and she said that right now the kids use the Blair Moody playground, but the way that it is, the mulch doesn't allow the kids to basically push themselves onto the playground. So they have to have a para or a teacher that is pushing them through the playground at all times.
But they do not go to the Johnson
No.
playground.
No, they do not.
I made that walk in the rain today. I
Well,
can't
and-
imagine the Ojai kids
Yeah.
going and doing that. Like that would be not ideal for what we want
My-
to provide to our students. Yeah.
So right now, they all just go to the Moody playground. They use that. But again, it has to be done in the sense that they have to have the staff to push the kids through the mulch because they can't do it themselves because it's not accessible for their wheelchairs or their walkers.
So who chose to put the mulch there?
I think it was just,
So that was a standard that they proposed for every playground. And then we also met with the stakeholders at each school, so the principals and any parent teacher organizations, and they approved every single playground before we started installation. So that was a standard that was set for every single school, and it does actually meet ADA compliance for each playground, because ADA looks at, from my understanding, the height of the different playground features. So there's more, I guess, ground level activities that students can engage with that meets the ADA requirement.
And talking with that building administrator, there's a breakdown of communication, and that was because the playground's housed at Johnson, but it's the Moody POHI kids that are using that playground. So the assumption was that Johnson was gonna be taking care of the POHI playground, but then Johnson thought Moody was taking care of
Okay.
it. And so then there was that breakdown that there wasn't really ever anything done with it. And so both parties were under the assumption that each were taking care of it, but it wasn't.
so it sounds though pretty clear that they don't use the playground at Johnson, so making a new playground there would not make any sense. Cause they're not gonna make that hike.
Yeah, the only, I guess my question would be is there's a great point made about, because Johnson has a preschool POHI program. And so playgrounds are, my understanding, are built for a certain age range, right? There's
Correct.
insurances that are associated with it. So if we were to build this playground wherever it's at, or redo the surface flooring at the existing one, would that playground suffice if the preschool POHI kids wanted to use, or is that not, are they not allowed to because insurance?
I'd have to verify. Jack works directly with Mizell, your insurance agent. I'm not sure what that current playground is certified for, because we didn't have anything to do with that in the renovations, but we could find out.
Because I know that if they're not able to use it, I mean, Moody's kids, yes, they will be able to, but then preschool POHI won't be able to because
Yeah.
it doesn't meet the age range for
Correct.
kids to use it.
And then the last attachment was just an overall rendering if they were to replace that playground at Johnson, which doesn't seem like it's, makes the most sense. That's what they were proposing to put there if they were to replace it.
I know after conversations, the thought was, thought with the building administrator was around if we could do the flooring, not all of it, because it's a huge space and not all of it needs that actual, ADA flooring. But, to put the flooring in at the existing one, and the main reason why is because right now they have some of the pro-high kids that push into the classrooms. And so when they go out for recess, sometimes they're going out with their general ed classroom. And so that, they have to have a para or they have to have a teacher that's pushing them. Whereas if we build that playground, say across on the other side, then that
They can't
student,
go to it anyways, 'cause
well, they would just during recess section off from their class, go on their own to this playground and be alone. So the thought was to make it an inclusive space for all the kids. But again, I don't think it was expressed to, there wasn't a much need for the whole playground at Moody to put the flooring in there, but
So just around it?
yeah,
yeah.
around it and a route to get to it, so.
And currently, from what was originally approved with the ADA borders or the timber borders and the ADA ramps, is $133,480. Of that, was $76,500 of remaining contingency from the initial playground project. So, even if the board decided to go forward with the $79,000, 3,500 square foot maximum for the floor in place, you'd still be under that approved amount of 133,000 roughly. So, just for
Okay.
more information.
So we wouldn't be spending any more bond dollars
No.
because it's already covered under contingency.
So the 76,500 was remaining from the original playground project. For the borders and the ADA ramps, the additional 56,980 was approved, bringing the total approved amount of 133,000. So correct, you wouldn't be spending any more than what was already approved by the board.
Okay.
I say we do the existing playground and,
The 3,500 square feet
yeah, make it accessible to where they can get to
place at.
the place that are there for them. Not do the whole thing, cause.
Yeah.
But if they're not using that playground and the preschoolers couldn't use it either, I don't see spending that kind of money as gonna be
I agree.
smart.
Other thoughts? Opening it to the floor.
And like you said, they wouldn't be with their class anyways, they'd have to go off alone, so that makes the most sense in my opinion.
If we were to do the flooring, my question, I guess, next would be, is there associated cost with removing, because like part of this fee is removing the current rubber, I guess, so to say, at the existing Ojai playground? Would that just basically switch to removing the wood chips?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that amount. So essentially be half of the removal amount in the estimate of 180,000. So they quoted 7,500 square feet of removal of the wood fiber, which is at a rate of $3.50. So it'd be half of that amount plus removal of the base and the dumpster and disposal. So I could rough that number together for you, but it'd be half the demolition cost for Blair Moody.
So if we approved an amount not to exceed 79,000 tonight, that should cover it.
I would say it'd have to be more than that, just because. Half of 26, so.
It wouldn't be the same as this 3,500.
Yeah, it'd be closer to 100,000. Say 98,000 all in, because you're paying half of the. I'm sorry, no, you're correct. It'd be closer to that because I was double counting this.
Okay.
Yes,
So if we
closer
did-
to like 85,000, I would say all in.
Guess I want to ask the board, is the board comfortable approving that amount not to exceed 85,000 tonight? To get the ball rolling.
This isn't over and above what we already,
Nope. Because it's all
this is
covered.
already covered.
Yeah, it's covered with the remaining amount from the playgrounds and the contingency from the board of timbers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Gary. My agenda's mixed up. All right, moving on to discussion item number 3, Hop Skip Drive Agreement, Miss Jarvis. That's a fun name.
Everybody, thanks for having me. So you guys got the contract for Hop Skip Drive. This is really just, we already have EverDriven, which we signed last year, and they do the bulk of our non-traditional student transportation, the ones that I can't get on a bus and they aren't able to have parent transportation for whatever reason. Excuse me. So this company does, it's a little more, I would say, quick in the response time. Sometimes with EverDriven, it takes me 3 to 5 days to match up a family or a student with their driver and then get them on board and get them to school. Hop Skip Drive promises to have, if I put a request in on Tuesday, they promise to have a driver by Wednesday. And getting the kids to school is my number one priority, obviously, and to do it safely. And you guys know I try to do bus first and parents second. And when we can't do that, then we have to look elsewhere. I know that several other districts like Southgate's using them. He's kind of sent me a list. We're kind of like the last remaining district in our area that hasn't signed on with them. My vision really would be to use them for when EverDriven can't transport our kids. That generally happens in about March and February when they get really, really busy. And then they say, sorry, we don't have any drivers left. Or students that are older and could be more safely driven in a non-cab situation. So while I don't foresee it becoming my primary place that we can use, I do feel like it's comparable in services to EverDriven, safety, all that jazz. And I feel like it's safe for our kids. They have a lot of checks and balances, probably more than we have for our own cars. So that is why I brought it to you. They've been chasing me down for about 2 years, and I finally met with them. And I think they have a good product and a good business. So I just came if you guys have any questions or any
So this would be
concerns.
like in addition to what we already have going on, like for backup, basically?
So it would be, so really what happens is, like if I have an unaccompanied homeless high schooler and they're not living with parents and I have to get them back and forth to school by federal law, sometimes a cab can't get them, but I do think that this company would be able to, I'd be able to get on it quicker. I think the cancellations are quicker. My high school kids are really inconsistent with attending. So we get charged every time a cab leaves. And if they leave their dispatch, we get charged. We'll have a quicker turnaround time to cancel these rides if if a parent or a kid calls and says we can't make it. They can't cancel on their own. That's no power we ever want them to have, because then they'll say, can you drop me off at work? Can you drop my kid off here? Can you take us through the drive-through? Things like that. So it's still all controlled by us as a district. I'm the one putting the requests in, and you can track it out. So if you were a parent that your child received the service, they would be able to track real time where their student was leaving Moody and coming home. Where are they on the road? They can see in real time. So it's comparable services. I just feel like because it's not really, it's kind of like Uber. I hate to say it like that, but it is a little more Uber than EverDriven is. And you're not guaranteed the same driver. But I mean, EverDriven promises the same driver, and it doesn't always happen. Life happens. Cab drivers it's transient sometimes. So I do feel like it would be good in addition to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is there a minimum out of pocket for the district?
Nothing. If we never use them, we never pay them anything.
If there's ever a problem with the driver, are they pretty responsive? I mean, if there's
Yeah.
an issue, are they pretty good at addressing it immediately?
Yeah, I feel confident with both companies, honestly. This year, we have a really good communication piece, and they have like these, they put it right in this paperwork that their drivers, they have hard and fast rules where they just are immediately dismissed. Should one of these, if they're using their cell phone is one of them, they can tell that and they immediately get dismissed. There's obviously no smoking, all the things that we wouldn't let anyone do. They also have really good rules about that, and they check their cars. They go through an inspection, and they have to meet with a hop, skip, drive representative in the area to visually look at their car and the driver.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Moving on to item number 4, Branching Minds Agreement. Ms. Graham.
Good to be up here. Thank you for welcoming me. So I do have a PowerPoint. So just a little bit of an introduction. When I joined the district in February, I began working with Spencer Riley, who was overseeing the district's PBIS and MTSS initiative. And we slowly started to realize how it was kind of confusing where her initiatives and my initiatives ended and where the other one began. So from that point forward, we started working really, really closely together on the MTSS initiative and PBIS, knowing that restorative practices and the things that Taylor was really holding dear would kind of go throughout both initiatives. So we met with the MTSS district team in the spring and made a couple of presentations for a company that could be our overall district-wide organizer of this initiative of MTSS, which is multi-tiered systems of support. And we had several presentations. We brought back the companies to talk to us about what they can offer us. And the team voted at the end of our last meeting and determined that Branching Minds would be the best fit for what we needed in our school district. And I'll get into what they can offer us and kind of the history of MTSS with Taylor. So Branching Minds, it has everything. It is a one-stop shop for Taylor School MTSS practices. So it basically starts out with education, understanding why students are struggling, the current trends in what is actually happening to students and families and how they can be more responsive. It matches interventions to those specific students and their needs. And then there's a monitoring piece that effectively monitors and collaboratively works with our multi-tiered systems of support team to make the best decisions for students moving forward. So kind of the whole synopsis is that if we have an improved intervention process, we will in turn have improved student outcomes. So what is MTSS, you may be asking yourself? It's a 3-tiered system to make sure that everyone is provided the supports that they need, and students that need differentiation are able to receive those services. So your tier 1, if you're looking at that pyramid, is your core classroom instruction. That's what everybody gets. Every student is entitled to the same core 1 instruction. The second yellow layer you'll see is the targeted small group instruction. So these are general education students that may be struggling in certain areas, and most of these interventions take place on a smaller scale inside of the classroom. And that third tier is your intensive individual intervention. We work really closely with special education initiatives. Tier 3 is where we would be looking at students to say, is there anything we're missing in the general education arena to help get the student back on track, or is there possibly something else going on where there would be a referral to another agency? That umbrella you see is the multi-tiered systems of support for a school district involves all of these facets, all of these different acronyms that a school board has on board. So the PBIS system, the RTI, which is response to intervention, social emotional learning, and then anything else. I don't know what GT is. This is actually a graphic from Branching Minds. But basically, it's saying that differentiation is going to meet core instruction. So anything that we can't make happen for kids through their core instruction. We differentiate to make sure we're meeting everybody's needs. So this framework would apply to the district policy and help to determine our effective practices versus our ineffective practices, because it used to be RTI, was renamed MTSS, and so this has been something that has been in Taylor Classrooms for a very long time. So Branching Mind commits an entire team of coaches to work one-on-one with our district and school-based teams to assess where we are versus where we want to be. So it helps to identify performance gaps with our kids. It pinpoints where additional support or resourcing is required. It helps us to adopt and accomplish best practices and identify who needs the most support. It aligns all of our district teams. So all of these teams that are working independently in their own school buildings, it aligns everything with our district team and the Branching Mind team to support all of these practices. And it helps us to streamline our documentation and our reporting. So this kind of dips into some of the things that Spencer does with reporting to RESA, our PBIS data. It's a good tracking system for all of us. So everybody's using the same behavior plan. Everybody's looking at the same referral process for students that might need extra support. It aligns all of our district systems. So there's lots of different things, but that this company can offer us. But one of the big things is that it has an online data platform support system for both students and teachers. So it helps to monitor and support the entire system as we integrate it into our Taylor Classrooms. So some of the things that it offers is it helps you to identify who to support, who to celebrate with visibility of improvements across the schools, grade levels, who's doing it really well, who might need additional assistance. It helps us to understand where or for whom you need to strengthen your tiered practice. Where are we not doing this well and how can we improve? Some of the other things that the platform do, which every school teacher and administrator in the district would have access to, is it helps your teams to identify student risk proactively and actively. So are we making sure? Thank you for that support. It helps our teachers identify which students get what levels of support. Is our system proactive enough? And that's a huge thing with the entire resilience and PBIS movement in the district, is providing supports that are proactive.
Tech support.
Okay.
Just a little bit somewhere side Halloween.
I know.
Okay.
That's for added effect.
Yeah.
So are we sure that there aren't any students slipping through? Are we making sure that we're doing screening and gathering data on students right when they get into the district? And are their kids not being identified early enough? Are emergent grades like pre-K, K, and 1, are they all doing enough to identify students? We learn which interventions and supports are effective across the district. We'll be looking in a slide where you'll be able to see all of the wonderful things that we already have in Taylor that we provide as help and assistance. Branching Minds would not get rid of any of that. They would help us integrate our systems and help communicate across all of the levels and all of the stakeholders so everybody knows what's available to our kids. We streamline documentation, saving time and effort. I mean, Spencer and I went over and over how to align the district documents, how to make sure that, both of our middle schools are doing the same thing, and then all of our elementary schools, and is one more equitable than the other. And then the piece that I really like is the family communications and meeting documentation support. The team from Branching Minds, which is actual human beings, will help us to use family and parent engagement and educational strategies that are tried and true, that have been tested, to help us reach more of our parents and families so that they understand why these interventions are taking place and how to provide us feedback so we know that they're successful or not. So how does Branching Minds align with Taylor's strategic plan? It's even more data, especially linking us to Star Commonwealth. When you saw me do the past presentation before, that was talking about students' perception. This is what are we doing, what physical supports are in place. We have individual classroom and school level data that will guide conversations and planning. That platform I talked about will help us flag students who may have made either tremendous growth or tremendous decline from one data collection period to the next. What does that mean? We can dive down deeper into students and get to the root cause more easily. The district level data will guide our district policy and procedures, what needs to be redone or revisited. And there's a concentrated focus on what works for students and what does not, so we can align all of our tier 1 instruction, which if you remember is what everybody gets. Can we be doing that better? So this is that document I talked about. I worked with the Office of Curriculum and Instruction, with the school improvement coordinators, with Spencer to talk about what do we already have in place. General tier 1 restorative support, we're going to have calming corners, restorative justice, restorative circles, direct instruction in social emotional learning. And then we protect that effective instructional practices time. But look at the tier 2 and 3 restorative supports that we already have that people may not across the district understand how to use or how to tap into. Re-entry meetings after extended student absences, behavior contracts. We want to get all those going so they all look the same. Check-in, check-out, special services for special education students. General education social workers have been added. School counselors have been added. We partnered with Corewell Health. We have peer-to-peer programs, Care Solace, T-Tops, Champions. There's a TSD Safe Media 6-week course that's being developed for students that misuse technology. And then we've added resilience coaches into all of our buildings. All of these things, all of these supports would be written into the plan and communicated with Branching Minds so that we can let all of our stakeholders know what exactly we're offering so we can connect students to the best interventions possible. So the nuts and bolts of this proposal today is that if we purchase for the entire year, it would be $63,605 for this school year. 31A grant funding would be used for this practice. I've been working really, or for this purchase, I've been working closely with Liz Little as she looks over the title budgets to ensure that we have the money for this. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, the MTSS team at the district level voted in support of the adoption of Branching Minds. Because we are very initiative heavy right now, lots of good things, but even good things can be overwhelming. We would start this rollout in October or November. And then we would use the district MTSS team after this purchase to kind of get everybody together and think about what can we start incrementally, how quickly or slowly do we need to go? Are there buildings that are ready to start this now and maybe buildings that would be better served to wait until maybe the winter time? All of those decisions would be made in concert with the MTSS team. So thank you very much for your time. Are there any questions?
Who monitors, like who monitors to like say somebody's falling behind? Who monitors that to like get that information to us? Like,
so the district's teams currently have regularly scheduled PBIS meetings, and they also have MTSS teams that would be regularly looking at this data. But individual teachers would also have access to this data. I don't know enough about the platform right now to know if there's like a flag that is sent out, if like there's students that really vary from one data gathering period to the next, but I'm sure that's something we could actively pull data. That would be myself and the MTSS director.
do we have any other programs similar to this that we're doing, or is this like something completely new?
It is completely new. The idea for this was born from the fact that we have lots of people very passionate about MTSS, and they're all doing different things across the district. This would align and knit together all of the kind of disjointed work that people are, with the best of intentions, doing across the district.
And the cost associated, you said it's the 63,000, that's for the 1 year. Is our hope to do it the 1 year, have the data, or is this like a continuous cost we're looking to have funded through the 31A?
Yes, I'm sorry, it would be a continuous cost. It would cost about that. Right now, the first initial year, we elected not to have one of the student surveys that would be very similar to the PASS survey, just because that's already, that need is met somewhere else. Should we need to kind of adjust some of the services that we would go through in the future, that cost might change, but it would, we could count on that year.
And the data is gonna be driven by teachers' input in the grades, right?
Correct, so. but
Are the
this-
teacher, I guess, we spoke with the faculty, are they on board to put the grades in a timely manner?
They are, so that was actually a concern brought up by the MTSS team was, is this just another data gathering platform? So our hope is that we start with the building level teams. There, you can put in like iReady data, which is already a district initiative, and it will help you to identify both behavioral and academic interventions that would be possible. That's part of what's so cool about Branching Minds is they have a suite of resources that will help to connect. And so the district teams, yes, they understand the need for this. Drilling down to the individual level, we would need to be cautious rolling that out, so it's not looked at as just one more thing that the teachers are responsible for.
Sure.
This last page says, like, we pay for the 3 years up front, or we pay them at a year.
But we're discussing the budget right now. I don't think that 3-year plan is possible, is feasible for us.
Okay.
We would need to go year to year. Babs, Erica Iceland, who's actually our rep, who I know I saw her on this call, she has been wonderful with us kind of talking about creating a menu to cater exactly what Taylor needs. So if we needed to piecemeal and pull some of the supports out, or if we, get the full Cadillac version the first year, and we don't really need that, we can dial it back the next. I know she will work with me to be able to determine that need.
Any other discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, moving on to discussion item number 5, conference request, MASA Fall Conference. Mr. Wager.
Yes, so obviously prior to me coming on board in the last 2 weeks, I believe a previous conference request was put out there for the prior superintendent to attend the MASA Fall Superintendent's Conference at Grand Traverse Resort in Traverse City. Basically, when we reviewed it, we thought it would be a good idea for myself to attend, being that this is my first time in this role. It's an opportunity for me to get out, network, meet some other superintendents, see the kind of things that they do. And so we were just putting in the request to change over essentially what Mr. Mills had requested over, but changing it to my name and to my situation at this point.
That's the Michigan Association of Superintendents.
Yes.
Any discussion?
So it's not gonna cost us anything, right?
It's already been, the costs are already out there, yes, it was already put out, but nothing additional.
Just switching registration.
Correct.
Discussion. Moving on to item number 6, the MASB Taylor School Board goals. So back on August 2nd, the board had a workshop with MASB to establish our 23-24 school year goals. And so basically I brought that to the board for feedback. I didn't hear anything. So I know the 4 of us that were here, it was actually a really, really good workshop, and it kind of was perfect. As Jacob said, it aligned kind of along what the district's goals were established as, along with the MDE goals that were established. So it was actually a really good workshop though. And Julie did an amazing job, I thought. So, but basically just going through, I'm just gonna read the goals that the board has established. Just gonna give that reading and then open it up for discussion if there is any. So the first goal revolves around student achievement, and it states that we will increase graduation rates, create a safe learning environment, increase attendance rates, ensure quality instruction in all classrooms. Our priority objective: by the start of the 24-25 school year, we will have no schools in the bottom 5% And all schools will be above the bottom 15% as measured by the State Accountability Index. The next category is facilities. It says we will maintain facilities. We will staff adequately and maintain our facilities. The priority objectives with this goal is by the start of the 24-25 school year, we will improve the function, security, and appearance of our facilities in order to retain our students. The final goal revolves around communication and culture. It states that we will improve district enrollment. We will increase and improve communication systems, improve communications system-wide. And then we will improve response time to families and stakeholders. The priority objectives around this goal is by the start of the 24-25 school year, we will develop a yearly enrollment plan to maintain district enrollment and limit student enrollment decline to a net loss of 50 or fewer students. During the upcoming school year, each school building will maintain updated monthly newsletters and communications, including administration building to inform stakeholders. During the upcoming school year, the district will improve parent engagement processes for attendance, discipline, building events, etc. And then during the upcoming school year, we will improve frontline communication for all stakeholders, including prompt response to phone calls, emails, and personal contact. Any discussion? Just saying, it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and we were rolling through these goals, so it was a fun time. All right. Moving on to discussion item number 7, just bringing back that we have our second reading. We have policy 0154 motions. We have policy 2430 district sponsored clubs and activities, policy 3370 tenure, and then policy 5610 emergency removal, suspension, and expulsion of non-disabled students. Is there any discussion? All right. Moving on to agenda item number 6, action items.
Before we go on, something kind of popped into my head for a moment when we were talking about the agreement for transportation. I know past practice has been to reach out and talk to any bargaining units involved. I wasn't sure if that was taking place. I just wanted to verify. I know. So, just wanted to throw that out there as a concern popped up.
Jacob, do you know if that was done?
I'm not sure on this one if she spoke to any bargaining units on those. I know this is the last resort, like you said, we look at buses first, parents.
Right,
and we get-
absolutely.
But yeah, from my understanding, I'm not sure if that step was done or not.
They have to get.
Not necessarily. I think it's more of the courtesy of that we reached out and we make sure that we're, and I know that it was presented as such that it is the, we are exhausting all those internal processes, but just trying to keep that communication going.
Moving on to action items.
26 was not reached out to at all about this. So part of them and already were discussed.
Thank you for that. Moving on to action items. I can cover the first one, okay? All right, action item number 1, ADA playgrounds. It is recommended that the Board of Education give authorization to finalize a contract with Great Lakes Recreation Co. to replace playground flooring not to exceed $85,000. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there support? Support by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufelt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright's a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
That carries 7-0. Ms. Block.
Number 2, City of Taylor water main easement. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the agreement between the Taylor School District and the city of Taylor in order to update water mains located on the Taylor School District property. This will be at no cost to the Taylor School District, and any areas disturbed by the construction will be restored to existing conditions at cost to the city of Taylor. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Blackman? Yes. Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
This is 7-0.
Who gave that motion?
Myers. Skip Drive Agreement pursuant to policy 6220, it is recommended the Board of Education approve the agreement between the Taylor School District and the Skip Drive in order to provide transportation services to McKinley, Bento, and foster care students effective August 30th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Heath. Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
It passes 7-0.
I just want to add to that. I know that the conversations weren't had, but I hope that moving forward, if we do something with that, the unions be approached if it affects anything within their work.
Vote already out there. Is this a done deal?
We can take that during public comment, but right now we're in the middle of our action item. So I just, during public comment, come and address the board with that concern, okay?
Number 4, branching minds agreement. Policy 6320. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the branching minds agreement for the 2023-2024 school year, not to exceed $63,605.04. Your motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second,
Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright?
yes.
Yes. Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Number 5, conference request 2023 MASA Fall Conference pursuant to 6350. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the overnight out-of-state conference request for Michael Wager, right? Wager, to attend the 2023 MASA Fall Conference, September 20th through 22nd, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thomas. Yes. Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
It passes 7. Number 6. MASC board goals. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the 2023-2024 board goals. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Heath. Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt.
Yes.
Mr. Wright.
Yes.
Ms. Blackman, yes. Yeah, that way. Okay, number 7, student reinstatement, policy 5610.03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education deny reinstatement for student number 1-090623. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wright. Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
So that's the, yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Shufel,
Yes.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes, Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Student reinstatement, policy 5610.03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 2-090623. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Myers. Mr. Thomas,
No.
Mrs. Thomas,
No.
Mrs. Shufel,
No.
Mr. Wright,
No.
Ms. Black is a no, Mr. Heath,
No.
Mr. Myers.
No.
That motion is denied, 707. Student reinstatement, policy 5610-03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 3-090623. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Heath. Mrs. Thomas,
No.
Mrs. Shufel,
No.
Mr. Wright,
No.
Ms. Black is a no, Mr. Heath,
No.
Mr. Myers,
No.
Mr. Thomas.
No.
Okay, the motion is denied, 07. Number 10, student reinstatement, policy 5610-03. The review committee is recommending the Board of Education approve the conditional reinstatement of student number 4-090623. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Heath. Mrs. Shufel,
No.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
Ms. Black is a no. Mr. Heath,
No.
Mr. Myers,
No.
Mr. Thomas.
No.
Mrs. Thomas.
No.
Motion is denied, 1-6.
Yep. So moving on to action item number 11, second reading of policy. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the policy revisions of policy 0154. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Heath. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Myers. Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
That carries 7-0. Action item number 12, policy revision and approval. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revisions to policy 2430, district-sponsored clubs and activities. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
That carries 7-0. Moving on to action item number 13, policy revisions and approval. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the policy revision of policy 3370, tenure. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
That carries 7-0. Moving on to the last action item number 14, policy revisions and approval. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the policy revision of policy 5610, emergency removal, suspension, and expulsion of non-disabled students. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Mr. Heath. Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufeld.
Yes.
That carries 7-0. All right. Moving on to item number 7 in our agenda, the superintendent's report. Mr. Wake.
First off, I'd like to just kind of start off saying, thank you to the community, thank you to staff, students, parents. Like, I know I've only been on the job for 2 weeks now, but the welcome I have received, as I've said in many of my speeches, many of my communications, it's like coming home. And that's the exact warm welcome that I have received from everybody. And it has been very touching to see that support. And I'm hoping we can see that continue and go forward. I do want to say that I spend a lot of my time in the last 2 weeks just being out in buildings, whether it's at the staff PDs, whether it's checking in on what's going on at our different locations, and especially being out there on day one with students and helping to greet them at Taylor Parks and at Hoover and at TVLA. But essentially at this point, I have been in every building at least once, and many of them have gotten a second visit from me already. So I'm trying to get out and trying to be in touch with all of our stakeholders, and that is one of my major goals that we need to have. And I'll say the vibe I'm getting from everybody, the morale is high. We've gotten off to a good start this school year. I know we've had some hiccups, and there are some things that we need to kind of revisit and readjust, but overall, things did get off to a good start and things have been very smooth throughout the entire school district. I'm really glad to see tonight the approval of the goals that the board has put together. A lot of those are really in line with who I am and what I would like to see, particularly goal number 3 regarding communication. I have made it my intention very much so that we are going to be very transparent. We're going to be very clear in our communications. Even when those communications aren't going to be the easiest. And that regards, one of the communications I asked to get put out this evening actually onto social media. We have had some parents who are coming to the school district. They're not our currently enrolled parents, but we've had parents who have really been frustrated with our registration process. And I think if we are going to be truly transparent and we are going to live up to these communication goals we have to go out there and we have to apologize to those families and to say to them, like, we can do better. And so I did so tonight because I felt that was something important that we had to do for the community. And so with that said, there's probably going to be others, and my belief in being completely transparent is, like, sometimes we do have to own those kind of things and we do have to make those changes and we do have to do better for the community. On a whole, like I said, everything's going great. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing, but like I said, communication is going to be very key to me going forward. In fact, my next communication will be going out on Friday, and on Friday, it's going to regard our progress with Kennedy High School. Absolutely, that's the number one question. I know all of you are getting in the community. It's the number one question we're all getting as well when we're out at buildings and going forward. So I'm in the process of putting that communication together, and that should go out to everybody Friday evening to give everybody a progress update on where things are at, because the community deserves it and they need to see where we're at in this process. So that'll be the next one coming up.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. All right, moving on to agenda item number 8, consent agenda. Ms. Block.
Okay, consent agenda policy 166.1 and policy 6470. They are minutes. Number 1, minutes from the August 16th, 2023 regular board meeting. And number 2, consolidated items, payment of current bills, certified, non-certified, and administrative reports. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Schuster. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Heath. Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Clark is a yes. Mr. Beach?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Shufeldt?
Oh.
Sorry about that. Mr. Thomas? Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt? Passes 7. And got
Bobby
to
will be
explain it.
Moving on to item number 9, item scheduled for the next agenda, Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. We have our good news and then our 2023 pupil enrollment, facilities, and utilization assessment, part 2. Next, we have item number 10 on our agenda, recess for capital projects committee meeting. Ms. Block.
Oh, pursuant to the Michigan's Open Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976, and as amended, I move the board recess for the Capital Projects Committee, CPC meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thomas. Black is a yes. Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
7-0. We are at recess at 7:02 or 7:07.
Good to go. Just when you guys talk, can you grab the mic from there and just talk in it so our online audience can hear? Okay. You can just grab it too, if that's easier. Knock it off there.
Sorry.
Going.
Alrighty, good evening. Long time no talk. So, my name is Gary Cannon with Plant Moran Cressa. Here with me tonight, we have Greg Van Kirk from Plant Moran Cressa, Becky Timberlake from Clark Construction, along with Chris Drew at the end. And then we have Bill Weinrock and Dave Rose from TMP, the architectural firm, for the bond program. So tonight we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to give an overview of the bond, talk about the bond history, the key facts of the bond, the ballot language on, what the voters voted on, the bond overview timeline, the things that we've accomplished to date, and the different phases of design. We're also going to give an update on the design of the high school, the athletics, and then talk about next steps. Ultimately tonight, the key goals are to provide an update to the board and the community on the high school and the athletic complex that is currently being designed. Obtain board approval to continue to finalize the design development drawings. That can be either an informal approval or a formal resolution just to move forward and tell us essentially that we're on the right track with the design and to finalize design development drawings. Once we have that approval, we'll formalize the drawings. Clark will actually estimate the design development drawings, give a formal update on where we're at with the budget, and we'll come back at the end of October and provide that update to the board for final approval to move into construction documents. Any questions on the topics that we're discussing tonight? Okay. So bond overview. This is something we like to do at every update meeting. People are moving into the community. Maybe they're wondering, what is this bond all about? So essentially in 2021, the district began bond planning. And in June of 2021, the board approved and submitted to the state the resolution to put on the November ballot a $130 million bond. Key facts about the bond, it's $130 million, but most people don't understand that you don't actually get all that money right up front. It comes in a series of sales. So for this district, it's a 3-series sales. The first series was sold in April of 2022 for $30 million. The second series is going to be in 2024 for $70 million roughly. And the third series will be in 2026 for $30 million. The key features of this bond is a new high school and CTE center. Middle schools being consolidated into the old high school and upgrading that facility. Security, technology, furniture, and playgrounds at the elementary schools. And district-wide items such as bond issuance costs, paying for the fees that go associated with selling the bonds. And the bond program is going to be substantially completed in the fall of 2026. The official ballot language is on page 4. You can see what the citizens actually voted on that was in the ballot in November of 2021. And on page 5, you'll see an overview of all the milestones we've accomplished to date. So pallet furniture testing at West and Kenyon right now. It was also shown at the Celebrate Taylor event last year or earlier this year. New playgrounds at the elementary school building. So all new at 9 elementary schools, we have new playgrounds. And we did the concrete and sidewalk repairs at Taylor High School. We also accomplished a district-wide technology assessment, which we'll use for designing the new high school. The board-approved program for the new high school, schematic design was approved, and we've had recurring bond updates. One question that we get a lot is where are we at with the demolition of Kennedy? So we actually started this process back in February. We publicly bid out the abatement, which is removing all the asbestos in that building. March was approved by the board, and in April that was completed. In May, TMP finalized the bid documents, and that was publicly bid. We got 7 bids back, which was great coverage, and we came within budget for that. And we began the DTE efforts for gas and electrical. Chris Drew was, spearheading that effort. In June, we did hydrant flow testing, storm drain inspections. July, we did site lighting. City of Taylor capped the water mains, and in August, DTE actually came out and capped the gas and electrical. So we were able to start demolition, which is slated for middle to end of September. So we'll start seeing equipment being moved to the site, site fencing and things of that nature. So it's in the works. It's hard to see, visually that demolition has begun, but it's well underway. On the next slide, you'll see the design phases. So kind of where we're at to date, we're right in the middle. Design development. So essentially in the bottom left-hand side, you'll see what this phase entails. Interior layouts, exterior elevations, room sizes, start figuring out the material finishes. So are we going to use, a good example is, you're going to get new kitchen countertops. What material are you going to use? You can use Formica or granite. And now in the next phase, construction documents, you're going to start finalizing, okay, we know we're using granite, but what color are we going to choose? So right now we're still finalizing the design development drawings, anticipated to be completed at the beginning of October. By the time we have an estimate, it'll be the end of October, which is when we'll provide an update to the board. Any questions on the phases of design and what each of the phases entails?
So we're hoping to move out of design development by November.
Correct. Yes.
And when we leave design development, that's when we'll know what the look of the building will be.
Correct. Yep. And construction documents is really just finalizing all the details, wall thickness, things like that. So.
What is estimated time from approval to construction documents being put up for bid or being issued?
We're targeting early next year. We don't have a final timeline right now. We're still working that out internally. We're obviously shooting for the earlier the better, get better bid coverage and start construction next summer. Alrighty. So next we have a design update on the high school and CTE building. Dave, I'll pass the mic to you.
Thank you, Gary. This is Dave Rose from TMP. So we've talked before, and one of the things that you're good. One of the things that I do pretty much constantly is try to manage your budget by, in part, managing the area of the building, the total size of the building. We had a recent round of meetings with a lot of users, teachers, administration, got a lot of input, and that typically makes the building grow a bit. There's offices and spaces that were not identified in the original program, but are important to the school. And so we went through a process of integrating those into the design, into the plan. And the number that you see on that slide is the current area that we had in the previous plan was 247,124. We had a target area of about 236,000 square feet. So we were a bit over. We were about 12,000 square feet over. That's partially growth, partially some other factors. We had done some reductions as a part of the schematic design reconciliation, cost reconciliation, that we still needed to work out of the plan. And so that was the target. And if you go to the next slide, this was one of the slides, and you see here, this is option for reduction 3R. So we worked with members of the board to look at different possibilities and think about what parts of the building might be appropriate to trim. And this is the scenario that we all kind of settled on. And you see on the right-hand side, there's very small floor plans, but the numbers there, number 9 represents the elevated fitness track, which was originally a part of the gymnasium when it was in the ground. We, as a part of schematic design reduction, moved the gymnasium up to grade level. So that track in theory would have been taken up to the next level, up to level 2. It was critical when the gym was submerged, but when the gym raised up, it's a thing you could have. It's technically possible to do it, but it isn't required. It's not required for exiting. It would only serve the purpose to be sort of a walking track that would take you around the perimeter at the upper level of the gym. So, yeah.
So when we raised the gym, essentially the track was eliminated. At the last CPC meeting, we said we're gonna make an effort to try and, incorporate it into the new design. But to Dave's point, it wasn't really a running track or a fitness track. It was more just a walking track, 2 or 3 lanes wide. You couldn't sprint, you'd actually have to stop at the corners and turn. So we tried, but as you can see in the reduction option 3R, the price point wasn't, favorable for the return that you're getting to put that track. And we, assumed that the board would approve that to be moved elsewhere where it'd make a bigger impact on students. So, sorry.
Right. No, that's great. Thank you. The other element here that's an area item is item 4 that you see down in the lower floor plan. And that's one of the CTE high bay studios, actually 2 were put on the block in this scenario. The thing to understand here is we're proceeding into design development. We have this basic design that you see in these plans, and we intend to draw all of the CTE high bay spaces. At the end of design development, we'll put the drawings out for a new estimate. It'll be a much more detailed and much more, reliable, accurate estimate. Not that the schematic designs aren't, but a lot of that's done on speculation, where in design development, you'll have pretty complete drawings. And we feel like we'll have a very good handle on how many of those high bay spaces you can afford. We're hoping all 3, but it was kicked around and discussed in terms of the programs that we're offering, and it was felt that having the existing CTE facilities as a complement to the facilities that are going to be in this building made it possible that one or two of these could be trimmed. So those were the 2 area reduction items. There's also a list here of non-program reduction items that add up to about $1 million. These are all things that are not mission critical. They're things like the outdoor dining terrace that's in the front of the design, the front of the building. There's pavement in the courtyards that we could trim back to just what's required to exit the building. There's pitched roofs in certain areas of the buildings that could be flat roofs. We talked about the last time we were here, the idea that there was a perception of having a lot of glass in the north elevation. And so there's an idea to reduce the amount of glass and replace that with metal panels. So not a dramatically different aesthetic, but less glass, a little bit more energy efficient, and save money. So we put all of that on a list. And those are things that we intend to do at this point as a part of our documentation. And when we put all that together, we saved somewhere in the neighborhood of 5.3 million. And that's a bit more than the target. And the reason that we like the idea of that being a bit more than the target is because we have another idea in mind of what we would spend that on, which Bill will talk about when he comes up. So on the next page, the floor plans of the building as described are there, all color coded with the various components of the building. And you can take a look at that. And
So that one CTE bay, that would be the alternate, right? Well, you're gonna draw all 3.
I think we're drawing all 3 would be the plan.
And if the estimate comes back, it's
So
over.
essentially, we're gonna draw all 3. That's gonna come back and really tell us how many we can afford. We'll give the board an update. But ultimately, the current plan is, we'll have one for sure design for the new high school. We'll have a second one bid as an alternate. So if bids go out and the contractor say, if we can add on a second one for this dollar amount and it's favorable and the board says, yes, we're gonna go forward with that, we have the option to expand it. Or we can say no and use that money elsewhere, like athletics or other parts of the building. And then the nice thing about that area is you can always expand that in the future. It's on the outside of the building. You can always grow in either a future bond or a future project. And then it's hard to see right here, but the next board meeting or CPC meeting at the end of October, we'll have elevations and renderings to give the board a better idea of what it's actually going to look like.
So if you don't have any questions about the floor plans, I think, Bill, you probably can talk a little bit about the athletics.
Good evening. I'm Bill Weinrock with TMP. Part of what we were working through with the DD package is we're focusing on the high school. The intent is to bid the high school out, and we wanted to build the bid for the academic portion. We also wanted to bring to the group the potential for the athletics. There's $6.8 million that are set aside for athletics. So we've tried to take this floor plan or this site plan and give you an idea of how the new building, new parking will interact with the proposed athletic improvements. One of the ideas that we are working with, if you can go to the next, there you go. So blowing up the area with the athletic portion, we have the football field, track, which is really soccer, lacrosse, all your athletic events, your pole vault, and well, we're not doing a pole vault, but the high jump and the discus and the shot put, all of those events will be part of that track replacement. We do have a new baseball field and a new softball field going in, which is basically one's over by the field adjacent to the baseball field adjacent to the track. And the softball field will be where the existing parking lot is today. These are rough ideas. We haven't met with ADs. We haven't met with the groups to discuss in detail the athletics portion. That will come as we move forward and get through the academic portion of the high school. We'll start working on these plans and ideas and concepts for the athletics. One of the tasks that we were trying to do with the building proper is to right size the building so that we can figure out a way to save some dollars with the actual high school portion, so we could try to move some of those dollars to the athletics. One of the items that has been coming up in meetings has to do with the concessions and toilets out at the athletic field. So right now, with that $6.8 million, there's really not money to do a brand new concessions. So we're trying to find some dollars to be able to move around to make that happen. What we included in the package is not a finished plan that we had met with anybody. This is just an example of a concessions building with the appropriate number of toilets for men and women and a family restroom that's required by code given the size of your current stadium. So they take the bleacher seating, figure out your capacity, divide it in half for men and women, and then that out of the plumbing code dictates the number of basically toilets and sinks that you're required to have. This building is about as condensed as you can get to function for the concessions and the toilets, and you're looking at about 2,400 square feet for a new facility. Your existing facility that you have out there today is about 550, maybe 600 square feet. So this would definitely be an improvement, and with all of the upgrades at the athletics, it seems appropriate to try to do what we can to be able to build a new concessions, a new gateway into the stadium.
So kind of going back to the whole CTE base, right? So this is kind of our thought process with that. So we're gonna bid things as an alternate. Obviously, right now, we're tracking under budget. But ultimately, when bids come back, we're gonna come back to the board and say, you know, the athletic portion is still in schematic design. We know roughly what we want to do, roughly the dollar amounts that are going to be associated with it, but then we'll ask the board, you know, where do you want to apply those dollars? Do we want to apply it towards concessions or somewhere else? So the high school itself is going to be finishing up design development. The athletics is still very early on so that we can apply more dollars to other parts of it and ramp up that portion.
Any questions on the athletics?
Do you have a ballpark figure on what it would roughly would have cost for the concessions to be built as you have it right now?
That the ballpark for this, given commercial construction, the way this is set up, is about $2 million. Have to look at Clark just to make sure they're in agreement.
It's due to the amount of plumbing and the location of that building, it's very expensive for.
Thank you.
Would that include demo of the existing building, or would it build off of the existing building?
It would demo it, start fresh. Yeah. So the next steps for tonight is we would like the board to approve that we're moving forward with design as shown. We'll finalize design development drawings. Once TMP finalizes those, we'll give them over to Clark. Clark will take about 3 weeks to estimate, and then we'll come back at the end of October with an update to the board for final approval to move into construction documents. At that time, we'll also provide a full update of the overall bond progress to the board. We'll have more drawings and renderings of the high school, and upon approval, we'll move into construction documents. Any questions that we can answer tonight?
All I gotta say is I know we've had multiple meetings, like you said before, and in those meetings, we invited, you know, the building administrators for CTE, TBLA, and the high school. And I mean, we really sat down and worked together really hard to come up with what is best given the scenario. And all of us came out of those meetings feeling confident in this. And so I know that I just wanted to express that it wasn't just, you know, TMP or Plant Moran. It was a collection of, you know, building administrators, the board.
Yeah, it was a great team effort.
Cabinet. So, yeah.
And thank you for that.
Yeah. Questions? All right. I don't think we have on the docket of official blessing or approval, but I think he's giving a verbal going. So I believe from my understanding. So, I mean, we can go around and ask each board member if they're okay to keep moving forward. It's just said, so I'm okay with moving forward. So
I'm good.
I'm good.
And then
Thank you.
Thank you guys. If Gary, if y'all could just stay around in case we have public comment, because we might just ask if you guys can answer some questions if the public has any, so. Oh, okay. We are returning from recess at 7:29. Moving on to item number 11, public comment. Thank you to all those who could be with us tonight. We understand the importance of continuing to keep you informed and providing an opportunity for you to be heard. Public comment will begin with those in person and then move to our online audience. For those in person, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. After the in-person comment, our online audience will need to find the raise hand symbol for our moderator to recognize and unmute you. Please take into consideration common courtesy, refrain from any personal attacks, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. We will provide and assist with timekeeping so each guest will be able to monitor their own time and know when to conclude, so all who wish to speak will have an equal opportunity to do so. As a reminder, if there are any questions at this meeting or by some other avenue, Interim Superintendent Michael Wager or his designee will work on getting those answers in a timely manner. All right. All right, in person.
My name's Mary Souza. I live on Beverly Road. I have probably a lot of questions, but the ones that I just heard was, what happened to the tennis court? I thought we were supposed to be doing, the tennis court was supposed to be in the athletic field up, removal, replacement of 8 courts, improvements of the bleachers and new fencing. Are the tennis courts not going to be there?
So because of the budget for the athletic fields, that was one of the items that we are considering. It comes out to what we're cutting out of the building. I mean, we're gonna look at the design development, but tennis courts are, because they're in decent condition right now, they definitely need work down the road, and we don't negate that, but that is definitely something we're evaluating. And as the design development come back, we're hopeful the numbers come good. And I'm looking at Clark for that.
Okay.
No.
And why are they raising the gym
Why? Cost savings.
cost savings?
Yep.
Let me see what was on the back here from, okay. The other questions I had was, I had asked questions before when I've been here. I've got some answers, but I'm still lacking answers. One is, when is the next oversight committee meeting? It's been almost a year since we've had one, and I'd like to know when the next one is.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. So I know previously, the former superintendent, Mr. Mills, established that oversight committee, and board really didn't have anything to do with it or know about it really. And so I know as Mike steps into this role, he'll kind of be evaluating what that looks like. And
Yeah, I would love to reach out to you because obviously coming into this brand new,
Okay.
I'm not aware of what that process was, but I'm glad to get information and see what we can do.
Okay. What kind of remediation has to be done on a property before you can start building? I mean, there's asbestos there. Is there anything in the ground?
I guess that's a question for does anyone know on the panel or no?
So the asbestos was removed. That was one of the things we started back in April, actually February, we started that process. And through April, the building was completely abated, so no more asbestos in Kennedy. Site lighting, electrical utilities, things like that, were all capped and cut. So the building actually ready to be demolished now. We're still working with the district on getting all alumni items out of the building prior to demolition, but that whole process is.
And fumigation was done as well.
Correct.
So
What about the ground?
they did soil boring tests and all that. They did environmental studies. So
And what was the result?
results. Yeah.
All good? Okay, awesome. Okay, okay. And the other thing I had talked about solar panels, and if you guys had been in on the decision to not have solar panels, I hadn't really gotten an answer back. So other than TMP, I believe it is, made the decision. So were you not interested in solar panels on the school, or at least partial solar panels?
So I can
to help
speak
defray
from
the cost?
I can speak from, the meetings I sat in when we had discussions about solar panels. There was a company that was interested in putting solar panels on our roofs, and from the sounds of it, it sounded great. And then when you actually evaluated how much of the energy savings, I just know when they basically did the math of our district, the company pretty much said, oh, well, we don't want to use your buildings because we're not getting enough money in return for putting the solar panels on the roof, because the company would install all the solar panels, they would put it all on there, and they would get a fraction of the cost from the energy produced.
Mhm.
And the school district would have some of the energy cover the cost of our utilities. But I know that when we looked, the company actually evaluated it, it wasn't good for them to do it in our district. And when the district looked at the cost of putting solar panels on our roofs, it was something that our district couldn't afford at the point.
Okay.
Because you have to also equip your roof and basically redo the roofs along with putting the solar panels in. So the cost was just really high.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris Simons, interim AD of Taylor. Just wanted to bring, I know we've talked about the eligibility situation that we are facing here in Taylor with our students. I know I brought a proposal up to couple you regarding going with the state standard and, you know, how we can work to go with the state standard. It just, it makes it easier for our students, makes it easier on us, the phone calls from parents. What I know what we talked about meetings of what our school policy is and how it's it says one kind of the other. Just wanted to see what's the progress on that so I can relate to other students and coaches. So
I have actually good news for you. Tonight, we just approved revisions to our policy to make them standard with MHSAA. So, yeah, we just
made a lot of kids happy.
So we
Well,
just.
and I will say, like, we did have the discussion, though, that we do need to proceed with updating the student code of
Absolutely.
conduct as well, so that we can build in those supports for those
Right.
students who are there, and through study tables, through weekly grade checks. But those are things that'll come when we start getting into that process.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other in person?
Good evening, Tom Mitchell, interim president for 26M. As far as action item number 3, the hop, skip, drive agreement, it was motioned, it was voted, it was passed. Is this carved in stone? Because our bargaining unit was not approached at all about this.
So with the approval of the board, yes, the motion passed and is moving forward. I know Mike will probably be reaching out and having those conversations with you all.
Yeah, because it's a violation of Article 1 of our contract.
Okay. I mean, can definitely have those conversations. I definitely think it's gonna be something we talk about after the meeting, but the board did vote, and I know that before we move forward with anything, signing any contracts or anything, we'll have those conversations with y'all.
Fantastic, thank you.
Charlene Edelson, 25203 Crowley Street. First, I'd like to say thank you to the board for the hard work that you do. Know that you're appreciated. When we talk about transparency, and I sit and wonder about the letter about the superintendent, that he had one more year in his contract, undertaking one of the biggest projects for the Taylor schools in the community. It just kind of makes me wonder why. And also, with that being said, so you talk about communication. So can these meetings now be recorded? So that we, for those of us that cannot get here, that we can hear what's going on, if we have questions as taxpayers, especially with the new school being built.
You're reading my mind. It was already on my list about having our meetings, having that conversation about
Yes.
meetings being posted.
And it's nice to see that you have more things on Facebook about the schools. That is your #1 communication. And you with your dog going around to the schools, people really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Awesome. Is there any other in person? All right. Moving on to our online.
Good evening. This is Caroline Katz. First of all, I just want to say congratulations and welcome to our Assistant Superintendent.
Caroline, you're
Emily.
unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
No.
There, can you hear me? Hello?
You want to go to Jennifer while we?
Hi, can you guys hear me or not? Because I could hear Caroline just fine. Can you guys hear me?
Is this a technical difficulty?
I think it's a technical glitch, Kyle.
For our online audience, it's a technical
Turn mine back on,
difficulty.
you funny.
Because I think the online audience can hear each other. It's just that the boardroom can't hear us. Still no luck? Can you guys hear us still? And Caroline, I don't know if you can hear me, but I could hear you just fine when you were talking.
So who has a joke that they can say during this time period? I have. Oh, gosh. All right, we're gonna mute Daryl's
Mine's not
mic.
important. I'll say it's school appropriate.
They're dead. All right. Is there any way that we could get them on if we unmuted? Would it? Matt, if we undid our.
Any luck with the sound yet?
Can you hear me?
Caroline, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can hear you too, Jen.
Yeah, I don't think they can hear us though, is the problem.
Okay. I mean, that works.
Yes.
Yeah. Just don't say anything. So the high pitched.
Kyle, can you guys hear us? Any luck? We
Yeah,
can't
it's a
hear them anymore.
problem on your end.
Yeah, it's definitely something in the boardroom.
All right.
Kyle, can you? No.
Boo.
Oh my goodness. Caroline, you're good.
You can hear me now?
Time's up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. No, not really. Okay, first of all, I just wanted to welcome Assistant Superintendent Emily Graham. Very happy to see you up there through the TV here. Also, I would like to welcome the interim superintendent, Mike Wager. I'm a retired employee after 32 years of the Taylor School District, and I'm also the president of the Taylor Alumni Association. So, Mr. Wager, I'm going to contact your secretary and see if we can connect with sometime to have you come over and see the museum over at the board annex. Actually, I'll be there on Friday if you'd like to swing by. But I just wanted to welcome everyone. I was going to ask the tennis court question, but somebody already asked that. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Can you guys hear me this time?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, just so you know, online, we could hear each other. Like I could hear Caroline, she could hear me. You guys just couldn't hear the rest of us. So that helps as far as figuring out the glitch. Anyway, Jennifer Ferguson Behringer, 23636 Irving. I'm a parent in the district that's been very involved with everything, as you guys know. I want to say welcome to Emily and to Mr. Wager. Welcome aboard, and I look forward to working with you guys on different things. So with the changes with the school, I've got a couple of questions. With the CTE taking out some of those rooms, where does that leave us with compliance with the bond language? Because part of what we're locked into, from my understanding, with what we put on the ballot, is that we've got to have it's an on-site career center. So now we're looking at moving some of that out of there or off of there, and I want to make sure that we're not doing something we're not supposed to be doing there, and that's within the legal bounds of what we asked for. And then as far as I noticed with the eliminations, the outdoor amphitheater was one of the things that was getting eliminated. What do we have left for our students as far as theater, art, performance areas? I'm not sure what's changed with the design and stuff. So do we still have a black box theater, or what do we have left still? And then switching gears, and then I'll let you go back to if you can like help answer these, Kyle, after I finish talking and stuff, because I know with the mic thing. I have a parent that's been asking, there's some concerns with the bus stops for West and Kenyon on the south side of Goddard. There isn't a crosswalk there. They were asking about crossing guards and stuff, and they've tried contacting transportation. So the problem is there's a bus stop at Goddard and Braga, and then there's one over, I can't think of the streets right now, but there's two kind of in that neighborhood, but there's nothing for Catherine or Dudley and two of the other streets right there in the middle, directly across Goddard. When the parent contacted transportation, he was told that if it's less than a mile, they don't bus. The problem is that's a busy road. There is no crosswalk. There's no crossing guards there. Can we make accommodations for those students? I thought we had something in place already where we automatically bus them, but apparently not, or something's changed. But if you map it as far as walking, we don't want those kids jaywalking across Goddard. They would have to go. So if you start with the first house at Catherine and Goddard, and they walk to the light at Pardee, cross at the light at the crosswalk, and then walk back to the school, it's exactly a mile. And that's just for the first house. That means that walking distance wise, that entire neighborhood is more, it's a mile or more where it meets the busing standard to be able to bus them. Is there, it can't be that big of a population of kids there. Is there something we can do for our student safety to set something up where we can have another bus stop or two there to make sure that those kids can safely get across Goddard to make it to school without jaywalking or anything else? And that's all I had. So if you can help with some of those questions, I would appreciate it.
Just muted myself, so it should be good.
Yeah,
All right.
A couple of these?
Sure.
I can hop in for a couple here. As for the transportation, I know we've had a few parents who've been reaching out with concerns on the placement of bus stops. So we are in the process of talking with transportation and kind of reviewing some of those as they came in, so we can put that on the few that we've asked them to go and review. Like, that's not a problem whatsoever. I did want to answer the question regarding your concern with the bond proposal language. I did consult with our attorney who covers the bond work. And the opinion that we did receive was that the way that the language is written in the proposal that was voted upon in the community does cover having to make those adjustments. So that should not be an issue as was shared. I don't know if you can answer the last part there.
Well, I was gonna say, for the amphitheater concern, I know you said, is there anything left at the high school for the performing arts or kids that are in theater? We will still have that black box theater that is located in the high school. So that was not removed. That will still be there. It was only the outdoor amphitheater to save money to get us down to that right size. So we evaluated it and we said, amphitheater will only be seasonal, whereas the black box theater would be year round. So that's why we went with that. I'm gonna unmute myself if you're gonna say anything else to respond to any of it, so.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So did we also still leave the footprint for a regular auditorium too at some point? That's still in the plans and everything, because I know we don't have the money for it right now, but that's a big pain point for a lot of people that, we were expecting that to be there, so.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Any other online audience? Well, with that, thank you all. Appreciate y'all being here, seriously. We will be moving on to item number 12, adjournment to closed session. Ms. Block.
Adjournment to closed session pursuant to policy 137.2 pursuant to Michigan's Open Meetings Act, being Public Act 267 of 1976, and as amended, I move the board convene in closed session pursuant to attorney-client privilege. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Myers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Heath?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Shufeldt?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Black is a yes. That is carries, motion carries 7-0. Going to closed session 7:49.
Okay. we are returning from closed session at 9:11 PM. Moving on to item number 14, board member comments. Are there any board member comments?
Nope, just want to congratulate Mr. Wager on his first day here, or first meeting, I should say here.
Yeah.
First 2 weeks.
And welcome back to school to all the kids.
Yeah.
Hopefully none of them's up right now.
They have to go tomorrow.
I want to echo a welcome to Mike and Emily as they
Emily
step
too,
into
yeah.
those new positions and thank them for stepping in those positions. And we're really excited to see where they go and already loving it. So thank you. All right, moving on to item number 15, adjournment. Is there motion? Motion by
Wow,
Mr.
Dave.
Myers. Is there
Second.
support?
Wow, Daryl.
Support by Mr. Thomas.
Out of here.
Mr.
Yes.
Thomas, Mrs. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Shufel.
Yes.
Mr. Wright is a yes. Ms. Block.
Yes.
Mr. Heath.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. The Board of Education regular board meeting for September 6, 2023 will adjourn at 9:13 PM. Have a great night.